Welcome to module 5. In this module, we'll be talking about cooling and lubrication system. Right? Because as we all know, engine generates a lot of heat and there are various moving parts. So it needs lubrication also along with keeping the engine cool. So both of these things, whether it is cooling or lubrication also provides some kind of cooling. So why are these systems important? Although every system is important, like our body, every part is important. Every part plays its own role. Similarly, every system in the car, in an automobile, is important, right? So the engine produces heat and friction during operation. When the engine is working, there's a spark and then there is a blast that results into generation of heat. And there are various moving parts, right? Metal moving parts. So when metal moving parts are touching each other, there's a friction, right? And friction also generates heat. And along with the heat, it also results into wear and tear. So we need to keep the things cool as well as we need to reduce the friction also. So that is what these two systems do. So the cooling system manages engine temperature. What happens in our body? Blood does two functions. One is it circulates oxygen with the help of Hb, the iron, and second thing it does is it maintains the body temperature. It is necessary that our body should be at a specific temperature. Our temperature is right. Similarly, the engine also has to work on an optimum temperature, and the optimum temperature of an engine is 85 to 92 degrees Celsius. A lubrication system reduces wear and tear between moving parts. So the lubrication, what it does, it reduces the friction, thereby reducing the wear and tear. And both are essential for performance as well as efficiency and engine life. Because wear and tear, the sooner the parts get worn out, the lesser is the engine life, and it costs a lot, right? So that is the major challenge. Then we come to there are two types of cooling. So how to cool the engine? There are two ways you can cool the engine. One is using air cooling system. The other is using liquid cooling system. So in air cooling system is very simple. You have an engine block and you have fins across the whole engine block, right? So when the air passes through the fins, it cools the engine. We'll see later. So it uses the air to cool the engine. So air flows over fins on the engine and it cools. These are generally found in motorcycles and small engines, right? So liquid cooling system. Liquid cooling system, we use coolant. Coolant is coolant consists of water plus antifreeze chemical actually. So this absorbs engine heat and cools down the engine. So it is more efficient and it is mostly used in all the modern vehicles. This is the system that we use. So this is how the air cooling system looks like. So here is the engine block. This is the engine block, complete engine block. And here you can see the fins. These are the fins, right? So by adding fins, what we are doing, we are actually increasing the surface of the engine block and helping in cooling. So longer the fins, where greater heat develops, improves cooling. So wherever it is more hot, they have longer fins and the smaller fins at the lower part, because actually blast happens here. So the most heated part is this aspect. So that's why here you will see in bikes and all, you can see this thing very clearly. So cooling fins are used to increase the surface area exposed to the airstream, which helps in cooling. Now the second one is the liquid cooling system. So in liquid cooling system, what happens? There is a radiator. Here you can see the radiator, right? There's a fan which actually blows the air, uh, due to which the cooling happens in the radiator. And what happens here? Here is the pressure release cap, and you have a reservoir also where the coolant is stored. We will see the complete picture of the radiator and all other parts, components. So how it does actually? This liquid is circulated throughout the engine. In the sides of the cylinders, you have the jackets, the water jacket, through which the coolant passes, and it absorbs the heat, comes back to the radiator, it again passes through the radiator, so heat is dissipated with the help of airflow, and again that cooled coolant is sent back to the engine. So that is how this whole process keeps on moving, completing. This is how a radiator looks like, right? So here you have a opening for fitting the hose, a hose pipe, and this is the inlet. From engine, the heated coolant comes here. So here is a reservoir actually, a container in which the heated coolant comes, right? And these are the channels, right? Small channels, again with lot of fins, and air passes through these fins and cools down the coolant. And the cold coolant comes here, the lower container. And from this opening, another hose pipe is connected that carries the cooled coolant into the, there's a pump which actually pumps the cool coolant inside the engine. So this is how the radiator looks like. If you open the bonnet of your car, you can see now, nowadays even bikes are coming with liquid cooling system. So in bike, you can see it in the front itself. There's a small radiator fitted there. Then the coolant. Coolant is a liquid that absorbs heat from the engine, and it is also antifreeze. It also acts as antifreeze, as well as uh, it keeps the engine free from corrosion also. So there are two functions of using, two purpose of using this. Otherwise, initially there used to be only water in the radiator. If anyone has seen the old movies, the hero generally used to stop his car used to get heated, engine used to get heated. He used to go to fill the water can nearby river, and he would see the heroine and all singing songs there. Right? So those things have stopped now. Now you don't need to go to the river to fetch water. Now this has everything inbuilt. So coolant, because there is a reservoir also. So the water will not finish until unless, yes, there's a leakage, right? And that you get to know in advance actually. So in a car, coolant, also known as antifreeze, it protects the engine from freezing in cold weather and prevents corrosion of engine components. Then is the water pump. This is the actually the open view of water pump, cross section of the water pump, and this is how the pump looks like. Right? So these are the fins which actually uh, push the water. So from here, the water is coming from radiator, and this pump is pushing it through this opening to the engine, and rest all is the construction of the pump. And here actually how pump works actually, there's a pulley attached here, and pulley is attached to the uh, main crankshaft pulley. So as soon as you start the engine, it starts working. Then we come to thermostat, because there's a matter of heat, and the engine has to be at an optimum temperature. The best performance of an engine comes when it is heated to an optimum temperature. Because if the engine is very cold, what happens? Metal actually constricts. So it will hold the piston. So there will be more of resistance. So engine cannot give its best performance, right? So engine has to be at an optimum temperature to give the best performance. So how to maintain the temperature? Neither it should get overheated nor it should be too cold, right? So to maintain that optimum temperature, we have something called as thermostat. So what thermostat does, uh, when you start the car in the morning, the engine is cold. So it needs to get heated up to that optimum level. So during that period of time, till the time engine is cold, you can see here, engine below temperature. So thermostat is closed, the valve is closed. So the coolant will not go to the radiator now. Coolant will keep circulating within engine, coming down and then again going back. It won't go to the radiator to get cooled, right? Then in second case, what happens? If the engine is getting heated up, it is going above the optimum temperature. Now the valve will open and now the coolant will go to the radiator to get cooled. So that is the function of thermostat. It regulates the coolant flow based upon the temperature. Then is the radiator fan. There is the radiator fan, right? So radiator fan actually sucks the air. It is fitted behind the radiator. It's not in the front of the radiator. It is behind the radiator. So it actually sucks the air. So this helps in especially slow traffic situation where you don't have much of air coming and hitting the radiator. Coolant reservoir. So this is the coolant reservoir. Right here, extra coolant is stored. What happens when it gets heated up? It expands, right? So it should not create challenge for the radiator or the hose pipes. So it comes here when the engine gets cooled, it flows back, and this maintains reserve also. You can say so whenever because ultimately it is liquid, and when it gets heated up, certainly some part of it may evaporate. So it covers that. So this also needs to be checked regularly, and the minimum level must be maintained. Then comes the hoses. These black color that you can see here are the hoses. These are hose pipes actually, right? So they carry the coolant from radiator to engine, from engine to radiator and other parts. Water jackets in cylinder block. So these holes that you see here, you can see my marker, na? So these holes are actually water jacket. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So all around the cylinder, you will see these kind of holes. So these are actually water jackets. So across these holes, the coolant passes and it cools the engine. So working of the cooling system, engine starts, it generates heat, coolant absorbs the heat and flows to the radiator. Radiator cools down the liquid and cooled liquid returns to the engine. And this cycle keeps on repeating to maintain the ideal temperature, the optimum temperature of the engine. Signs of cooling system failure. Now this is the sign for cooling system failure. This means engine is getting heated up. A lot of people don't understand these signs. It's very important to know what these signs mean actually. So for that, I'll recommend everyone should go through the owner manual. Every car comes with a owner manual, right? Except the God gifted things, you have owner manual for everything. You buy a mobile phone, there will be a owner manual. You buy a camera, there will be a owner manual. You buy a mixer grinder, you'll have a owner manual. You buy a uh, microwave oven, you will get a owner manual. Except a child, you don't get an owner manual. For child, you don't get a owner manual. How to handle the child, right? So here you get an owner manual. Nowadays, most of the manufacturers have started giving owner manual in PDF format that you can download from the website itself, right? So in owner manual, you can see all the warning signs and what they mean. Even the colors may change, right? So what is the meaning of that particular color in the warning sign? All these things you can find in the owner manual or in the advanced automobile technology. I'll be giving the tips for maintenance along with all these warning signs, right? So this is our engine overheating warning light. So in case this light is on, that means what? Either there is a leakage in the coolant system, or your what to say, your water pump is not working properly. So these are the two major reasons why this engine will get heated up. So rising temperature gauge, steam from under the hood. You see steam coming from the bonnet or under the hood. So that also indicate the engine is getting some, because sometimes this can malfunction also. It normally it doesn't, but by any chance, if you find uh, the steam coming out of your hood, please stop the car and take a look at what's wrong. This warning light is really serious matter. So please stop the car, take it to a garage, and when this sign is on, or when you have driven the car for some distance and your engine is hot, don't try to open the radiator cap. Although it is written on top of it not to open the radiator cap when it is hot, but sometimes people do that mistake and they get burnt badly. It can impact you seriously. So lubrication system. So introduction to lubrication system. What it does, it actually reduces the friction between the moving parts of the engine, right? So, and also carries away the heat. So this also aids in keeping the engine cool, right? It prevents metal to metal contact and wear and tear. Cleans and protects engine parts from contaminants. Yes, there's another very important work of the lubricants, because in petrol or even in diesel, you may have some contamination, right? So what can happen? That can actually affect the piston and the cylinder. So along with the lubrication, this also carries down those contaminants, thereby keeping your engine life safe. For every manufacturer, they have given a specification. After so many kilometers of driving, you need to get the oil changed. And when they change the oil, you just have a look at the oil. What color oil you put and what is the color of the oil when it is drained out. So the lubricant is stored here, and there's called as oil sump. So there's a oil sump oil header. This actually keeps the track of the oil. Then you have oil pump. So there are two ways how the oil is actually carried inside the engine. One is swiping and the other is through pumping, the pressure. So component of the lubrication system, you have oil pump, right? Oil pump, oil filter, then oil pan, that sump where the oil is stored, then pressure relief valve. It regulates the oil pressure because it gets heated up. So there is a pressure inbuilt into it. Lubricating oil, right? So there, every manufacturer has uh, prescribed a specific grade of oil to be used in engines. So that grade oil only need to be used. So there are two ways how the lubrication happens. Splash lubrication. So splash lubrication works like something like this. So the crankshaft, how it is made, down below you have a metallic object like this. The, so what happens when it comes down, it splashes on the oil. So because of which the oil splashes across the whole of cylinder and the engine block. So there's no other way to go out. So it remains within that enclosure itself. And there are oil rings in the piston. On the piston, we have oil rings. There are rings. The top ring is called as compression ring. Below that, you have oil rings. So oil ring actually, when the piston comes down, the oil ring carries the oil upwards. And second is the pressure system of lubrication. In pressure system, we use the oil pump and there are channels, oil channels that are inbuilt within the crankshaft, camshaft, right? And in the engine block also. So that is how the lubrication happens with the help of oil pump. So there are two ways, splash and pressure. And then third one is the combination of both. Most of our cars use both. The modern day automobiles use both the models, splash as well as pressure. So regular oil maintenance is very important. So here you can see how there is a dipstick actually that is fitted in the engine. You can take it out and see. So it has these markings. So this indicates full. This means oil level needs monitoring. And this means now you need to top up. And this means it is emergency. Now immediately you need to top up. And second thing is if there is dirty oil, because when you put the oil, it looks a bit orangish, yellowish, orangish. But slowly what happens, it color changes to blackish, right? Because there's a lot of carbon that petrol and diesel, whatever engine you are using. So there's a carbon inside the piston that is created. When the burning happens, some carbon is there. So it changes the color to black. Right? So dirty oil leads to engine damage and poor performance. So change the oil and filter as per the schedule, very important. And use only recommended oil grades. Keep checking the oil level regularly. So in the previous slide, I was talking about the grades, the oil grades that are to be used. The company, the manufacturer actually suggests what grade oil we need to use. So how the grading is done? So you see here, there is a grading system. So here it is written SAE. SAE, you'll find like this only written on the cans. SAE, like here you see 5W30, right? So SAE is Society of Automotive Engineers that actually recommends the grading system. They've established the grading system. And then you have viscosity for cold temperature. So W actually stands for winter. So here you can see 5W. So that is a viscosity of level 5 for winters. Here you can see 10W, 15W, 20W, 25W. And then you have 30. So 30 is the hot temperature grade of viscosity. So it's very much necessary that you keep the oil proper shape. Another way of knowing if your oil has become dirty or useless, that for that you can put a drop of oil on your fingers, 2 fingers, and if you lift the finger, if it makes a small a thin wire like stretch, that means the oil has the viscosity, and if nothing happens, that means the viscosity is not there. So it's better that you change the oil. And color, yes, if it has changed its color towards the dirty side, the blackish side, do get it changed. So to summarize this module, we have seen in this module how the cooling system works and how it prevents the engine from overheating, and how the lubrication system reduces the friction, and both the system work together to enhance the performance and durability of the automobile. But most important is the regular maintenance, because regular maintenance will ensure engine health and your safety both. So follow the maintenance schedule as given in your owner manual or as instructed by the dealership from where you're taking the delivery of the car. And if they are not suggesting, do ask them. There will be a service person at the time of delivery. So just ask him what is the best way of maintaining the vehicle. So see you in the next module where we'll talk about electrical systems, because it's very necessary, because it is the electrical system that provides power to starter motor to start the car, and we need lights, we need current for all the sensors and various other uh, parts. Now there are a lot of smart features that have come in. They all work on electrical system. So see you in the next video.